More now on the upcoming State of the Nation address. We want to get some clarity on the media's movements in the parliamentary precinct tomorrow. In other words, will there be restrictions in place for journalists and camera people? Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Lechesa Tsenoli, is on the line for us this morning. Deputy Speaker, good morning and thanks so much for your time. Can you clarify, and I know that you did do this yesterday, but many people remain unconvinced. Can you clarify for us, will there be any restrictions for the media during the State of the Nation address in Parliament tomorrow?
No, there will be no restrictions. The media will operate in the manner they have operated before, and we clarified that to the writer of the memo, the Secretary of Parliament. He has said he will clarify that to PG. I understand that he would have met with the Parliamentary Gallery Association yesterday, which represents the media, broadly speaking, to clarify that that memo was intended for staff and what that reference to restrictions meant. And so that has been clarified. There will be no restrictions.
All right. Can you clarify what he clarified for you? Because you know, as you know, journalists reading out a signed memorandum from the Secretary to Parliament introducing the idea of things like media squares, journalists being corralled between demarcated areas and only being allowed to move under escort. Where did the idea come from then? Were you even thinking about it at some stage?
No. This is why I'm saying that we spoke to the Secretary, because he's the one who wrote the memo to staff as an internal document and so on. Where the idea came from, I don't know. We haven't taken a decision as the presiding officers, nor am I aware that the security cluster in any way would have had to take that decision. Even if they did, we would have disagreed with them. The issue of the role of the media and their movement to carry out their work, we have seen no reason to restrict them. So there is no basis for that to have happened. It created confusion. That memo created confusion, and the people who may have suggested that there will be such thing would have been absolutely out of order. We don't have any political meeting where such a decision was taken.
All right, but the idea is that somebody somewhere in your staff was considering the idea?
Well, that's what it means, that they may have written that stuff the way they did, and it gave that impression, including talking about restricting people to any one part of the area or not. That's out of order, and we've communicated this yesterday to the media when we met them, as you correctly said.
Will any action be taken, Deputy Speaker, against those responsible for this memo, those who had input into it?
No, we will find out. Additionally, what was the basis for that, so that we point out the outcome of the confusion that they created and the political cost it has on Parliament and its image.
Deputy Speaker, you know, I mean, added to this, you having to address this and allay any concerns about this, the deployment of the SANDF tomorrow, it's been very controversial this morning, lots of outrage about it. I mean, it actually seems like, you know, that there is something to be afraid of tomorrow, that those within Parliament and those who will preside over Parliament are feeling a bit insecure about something.
No, I think we should, let me explain first that the decisions and the details, as a Deputy Speaker, we do not get involved in the details of the deployment of that nature in the first place. I mean, so what it means, what we do know, is that on the basis of an assessment that is made by those responsible for security of the environment, they inquire regularly ahead of the SONA as to what are the possible risks that we have to deal with this year, unlike in the previous year. Are there things that happened previously, and are there things that are going to be happening this year, and what is that? Can we ensure that the safety of everyone in Parliament, particularly outside, the decisions that have been taken by the city to approve marches and protests around the area, because that has to be done annually in consultation with Parliament and reference to that.
Deputy Speaker, sorry to interrupt you, but you've identified more risks this year, if I understand what you're saying correctly, more risks this year than in previous years that would warrant the deployment of the SANDF.
What I'm explaining is what normally happens. That assessment that takes place and so on. And I'm saying to know that there might well have decisions been taken that maybe it is necessary to do what you are talking about.
But you don't know why it would be necessary at this. You wouldn't be able to tell us what has been identified as a necessity this year.
All I'm giving you is a broad thrust of areas that would be considered to reach that level of determination, that the risk to the safety of people inside Parliament, our guests from everywhere else. This is the one day when all arms of the state are under the same roof, and that any threat that might be assessed to that.
So you can't identify any particular threat that would be different this year to any other year?
Yes, this is what they would have determined. That how else would you explain such a deployment? I mean, I'm speculating here. I'm assuming that the leadership will communicate the reasons for deploying the army at an appropriate time.
All right, very quickly.
To give reasons to the public.
Before I let you go, the EFF is adamant that it is going to disrupt, that the president will not speak in peace tomorrow, to use that term. How are you prepared for that?
The usual, ma'am. The president usually requests Parliament to give him an opportunity to present his State of the Nation address. We gather in this way. We proceed on the understanding by all political parties that that's the purpose of the gathering, and that we communicate that intention to everyone, and the EFF included. And so if they do not want to participate, they disagree. Out of the number of political parties here, if they disagree, they don't want that to happen, and they can protest as much as they do, as long as they do not disrupt the proceedings.
All right, and are you prohibiting will you prohibit the use of force, Deputy Speaker? I mean, we're looking at the addition of the SANDF this year. You say you will deal with the EFF as usual. Will you allow use of force if necessary?
No. What happens when people inside the chamber do not want to leave peacefully? The Parliamentary Protection Services is available to assist the Sergeant at Arms to escort members out of the chamber so that they must go out of the precincts as is required.
Okay, we'll leave it there for now. Thanks very much for your time. Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Lechesa Tsenoli.